Welcome back to another edition of Everything Football 62. I'm your host, Jonathan Big Tex Johnson. This past week, as you probably will have seen, where Odell Beckham Jr., the Giants' great wide receiver, figured because his contract is getting ready to come up after his rookie contract and whatnot, and he's asking for probably, I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of like $20 million a year. He wants to be paid more than basically who set the market would be that of Antonio Brown. Now, this is the problem. I did a piece on Odell Beckham Jr. Earlier in the year, last year, whatever you want to call this past football season, and I think there was he's the best player in the NFL. I'm just like, what is warranted of him being named these or having these particular type of attributes? I give him. The kid can play. I got that, but to me, it's because it's the whole New York thing. That's literally what gives me a problem, because at the end of the day, I'm not really seeing it. Put this in consideration right quick. The best wide receiver in the NFL, in my opinion, right now, hands down, that can pretty much do it all, turn the game over, can explosion the whole 9 yards, the whole kit and caboodle, is that of Antonio Brown. Okay, let's go ahead and do this, because he wants to compare himself basically to that of Antonio Brown, and I just don't see it happening, because one of the things about being an elite player is being healthy. Okay, now let's examine I'm going to examine Antonio Brown right now. So since 2014, I'm using 2014 because that's when Odell Beckham Jr. came into the league, and that's the catch that literally catapulted his career, to me a little prematurely, but this is it. This is the age of social media age, so anybody can kind of jump on pretty quick. You see what I'm doing right here now. So look at it like this here. You're talking with somebody that has 472 receptions. This is since 2014, because he came in the league back in 2010. 472 receptions, over 6,349 yards, and he has 44 touchdowns. His team in that time period, the Pittsburgh Steelers, has a master record where he's played, basically give or take, 45-19, and has been to the playoffs every year. Okay, he got the big contract, $17 million a year. You saw what he did in that playoff game. Unfortunately, if the Steelers had any defense, which, like I said, that still baffles me to this day, because that's what that franchise has always built their reputation on. Defense was always there, even when the offense wasn't there. So this is like one of the first times I could ever remember in Pittsburgh Steelers history where they actually had a defense that was just putrid at the end of the day, because they basically should have played New England and possibly should have beat New England. Possibly, I actually had Pittsburgh at one time going to the Super Bowl representing the AFC. Still didn't see an AFC team winning, but I had them at least going. That's what Antonio Brown has contributed since 2014. Odell Beckham Jr., since 2014, right? Since 2014, has accumulated more receptions, 498 to be exact. Who else is Eli going to actually throw the ball to? 4,424 yards and 38 touchdowns. Okay? Guy's a stud. Guy's a star. I give him all that. But look at this right here. Since Odell Beckham Jr. has been a New York Giant, they are 23-29. They won 11-5 back in 2016. He had that putrid wild card game where he was supposed to show off. He dropped passes and was quickly frustrated after coming out there with no shirt on, and then going out. Then before that, after the Redskins' last game of the season, hanging out up in Florida, the whole 9 yards when they're supposed to be getting ready for the Packers, and we see what happened. That in turn led to them losing the drop passes and losing, and then led to being hurt in preseason, and then basically missing the whole season. Missing about 12 or 13 games this season. So you're looking at a 23-29 record. And the 4 games that he actually started and played in, they went 0-4. Okay? That is what Odell Beckham is giving you. And like I said, he is represented. I give him that. But at the same time, compared to Antonio Brown, nothing. Now I'm going to bring another player up to you who quietly has become, who is one of the star receivers, and he showed it this year. And it show what would happen if he actually has a quarterback. And he's been playing with no quarterback, as these other guys have basically been playing with 2 guys that came out in 2004, and both of them have won 2 Super Bowls. Okay? And Big Ben is pretty much solidified he will be going to the Hall of Fame because he's had good regular seasons. Can't say that for Eli Manning right now, but he'll probably get in there. It might not be not a first ballot, maybe not a second, maybe third, possibly fourth ballot Hall of Famer. I'm gonna say third ballot Hall of Famer because he has to do something this next year because I think it's pretty much coming to the end of the road. Okay, but both these guys have Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. Put it that way, perennial Pro Bowl quarterbacks. Okay, DeAndre Hopkins of the Houston Texans. This is what he's done since 2014. He came in the league, I think, in 2011. 361 catches, 5,063 yards. If I'm not mistaken, I want to say 5,063 yards. And 34 touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. This is the numbers that he has put up so far since he's been in the league, to my knowledge. Now, I might be a little bit off. I'm going to have to go back and check it out. A little bit off, but his numbers are comparable to that of Odell Beckham Odell Beckham Jr. You're talking he came into the league in 2013. So since 2014, DeAndre Hopkins, like I said, has amassed 5,063 yards, 34 touchdowns, and 361 receptions. His team has went 31-26. Right? 31-26. Been to playoffs a couple of times and whatnot. Playing on a team that hasn't had a quarterback since he's been there until Watson gets there and lights it up for 6 games, showing you what that team could possibly be in the future is really scary. You know what I'm saying? Really scary, especially when I'm being a Clemson connection as well. So that is definitely something to watch out for. But DeAndre Hopkins, if you go back, like I said, him and Antonio Brown was your 2 first-team All-Pro wide receivers this year. Okay, Hopkins missed a game. Since Hopkins been in the league since 2013, he has only missed 1 game, and he missed a game after that hell of I forget who they played, but where he got hurt catching the touchdown, and then he missed, I think, the last game of the season, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so you have him at 31-26 since 2014. You have OBJ at 23-29. Now, not only that, Odell Beckham Jr. has not garnered a first-team All-Pro. He's first-team All-Pro. He's been second-team All-Pro, Associated Press. Antonio Brown, 4 years in a row, first-team All-Pro. DeAndre Hopkins just made his first year first-team All-Pro, first-team Associated Press, and probably several other teams. His numbers, D-Hop, is just comparable. It's just as good, better than that of Odell Beckham, where he's not playing with a perennial quarterback. He's playing with a music chair of quarterbacks. I don't know how many quarterbacks have been through that franchise since that kid has been there. But look at what he's put up compared to that. Now, I don't know what D-Hop is going to ask for, but like I said, for Odell Beckham to ask for $20 million is absurd. He doesn't deserve that. One of the things about being a professional football player or a professional anywhere that you at, you have to be that. That's just like in any blue collar, white collar job, whatever collar job that you're into, you got to be there. Odell Beckham missed, let me see here, missed 12 games this year. He missed 4 or 5 games his rookie season. He already had a penchant of getting hurt coming out of LSU. So we'll see what happens with Odell Beckham Jr. But because, like I said, that's that New York thing. I play in New York. Is this, is that? Fine. But he, in my opinion, and DeAndre Hopkins is just as good as these guys. Now, I'll put Julio Jones up there because Julio Jones has this complete package, the size, the hands, the speed. These other guys, you like D-Hop, 6'1", 6 foot, maybe 200 pounds or something like that. You got Brown at 5'11", 185 pounds. OBJ at 5'11", 195 pounds. Not these big receivers like Julio. But these guys are up there. And like I said, so for him to ask for $20 million a year is absolutely absurd, and New York would be a fool for giving them that when they need so much help, when they were on a cups, because New York has always built their team basically dealing with defense and a running game, something that they lack, and they may try to go ahead and try to get Saquon Barkley coming out of Penn State. If Cleveland don't get him, which in my opinion, like I said before, that's who needs to get him anyway. That's another subject though. But to warrant that kind of money, I don't get it. I don't get it, and like I said, Pro Bowls don't really mean anything to me, but I'm like, who is the best at the position? So OBJ and all of the things that he's saying and doing and whatnot, that's fine and dandy. That's good. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, get your money, young man, or whatever. I'm just, from my standpoint of view, he doesn't deserve to have that amount of money because of production or lack thereof. He missed all of this season here, and then he tanked in the playoffs, missed the balls, got hurt in the preseason, and then got hurt again. And I don't think he was really well from that injury from the preseason, and then played 4 games and they went 0-4. He was having pretty good games in all the 4 games he played, but at the end of the day, you got to still be on the field, right? So he has a little history of being injury prone, and then you throw on top of this being in New York and throw on top of the whole social media thing. So I think it's a little bit overhyped. The guy is good. I'm not taking that over. He's one of the top 5 receivers in the game, but now he's had to take a step down because he missed all of last year. So to give him $20 million, no, that would be ridiculous amount of money for any team to basically give this guy when the Giants have needs everywhere else. And I think DeAndre Hopkins is just as good as a receiver as Odell Beckham Jr. And I think it'll show up when he finally has a chance to play with Deshaun Watson for a full 16 games, and we'll see what happens at that particular time. Okay, But OBJ, I said, best receiver in the football, bar none, is Antonio Brown. Guy brings his whole A game. He has full arsenal of everything as far as what you want him to do. Receiver, be explosive, route running, hands, big plays. He give you that. He unfortunately missed the last 2 games due to injury, I believe. Last couple or so games due to injury. Like to see that touchdown thing, because that's what I'm saying. If you look at Julio Jones' touchdown ratio, he hasn't caught a lot of touchdowns. He's put up a mound of yards, but not a lot of touchdowns. And that's the key, is getting them touchdowns, which in turn can give you victories and whatnot. So if you look at what Antonio Brown has done, who's been pretty good in the touchdown, 45-19. D-Hop 31-26. OBJ 23-29, but he has all the flair and all this other type of stuff that everybody call themselves liking to see. So, we'll see what happens with that. I'll be back in a few minutes with another topic I have to talk about. All right. Thank you.